Maybe listen to me speak, yeah. No matter what, just let it go.
Pop, persuadable. What's going on, boo boo? So, this is going to be a review video of a game called Rise of Kingdoms. I am not going to go through everything. This is not a beginner's tutorial. I'm just going to tell you if I fuck with the game or not. Right, isn't that nice? I feel like critics are very critical. That was dumb. And I want to keep it simple. Would I play the game or would I not? And cut through all the other garbage and nonsense where things go too in depth, right? So, this is a mobile game you can get on PC. The biggest thing is, can you play this game free to play or is it a pay to win game? And essentially what I will say is it is possible to play this game free to play. You're obviously not going to be the strongest person in the game, but what I have learned about this game is that it is much bigger than yourself. Alliances are crazy. The world is huge. You have scouts that you have to try to discover more and more about the world. There's a campaign. You can fight other people for resources on the map. I mean, it's huge. It's big. And I'll try to make this video a little bit more organized than some of the other ones in the past. But trying to do a TLDR in the beginning of this, you have different commanders that you can unlock that have different abilities, that excel in different things. Like some commanders are good in campaign mode, some commanders are good at PvP, some commanders are killing NPCs on the map. So they all do different things. They have different skill trees, different talents. You can build them differently. Alright? It's a really fun game. It actually is. And again, pay to win is obviously the way to go in the game, unfortunately, but there are a lot of free-to-play players, and they are actually tremendously valued in this game if you're part of an alliance. Furthermore, full disclosure, I'm not being paid for this video. I don't know who the developers are. Don't really care about them. And this video is all just based on how I've been playing the game and if I like it or not. So I want to first start highlighting the differences between the civilizations. Obviously, they have different things that they excel at. I'm sure more experienced players know when to use certain civilizations or whatever they're called. The only thing that's annoying about this is that you got to pay a lot of money in order to switch. You get like 1 or 2 free. I don't know how often you can get them for free, but I know they cost quite a bit of gems, like 10,000 in order to change. So it's not like you can just change this up whenever you want if you're a free-to-play player. It's the only downfall to this whole entire system. Now, when you first drop into your kingdom area, you can't see shit. Like all this, right, is because I've sent scouts out to unlock the map. So this is really what it looks like when you first start the game. This is a different kingdom, but it gives you a general idea. So you have these scouts, and you got to send them out. And as you do, it unlocks more and more of your kingdom. And it's extremely important because it shows you where very important parts of the map are, where the bosses are, and where the NPCs, there's different types of bosses and different types of NPCs out there, different types of resources. And then if you're going to get into a fight with another alliance, you need to know where they're located. So I found this to be a really cool fucking feature, and it takes a very long time to unlock everything. Like I say, you just go in blind. That's what it is. It's like a blind date with a lot of people all at one time. And just to show you some of the stuff, right? Like, let me show you some of the stuff that's happening at all times. So that's my clan member marching somewhere. I have no idea where they're going. But you can see all these different people, these different resources that are on the map that you have to send your people to in order to gather. But there's way more than that. There's things called sanctums that can provide benefits to your whole clan that you have to go and conquer. There's barbarian keeps. There's different types of bosses. And it's not just one thing. I mean, the map is fucking massive. Massive. And there's many different things that you can do. And you do different things at various stages. And it also depends on how strong you are. In this game, unless you're a mega whale, it's really hard to do things by yourself. So a lot of stuff is coordinated by your alliance, which I'm going to get into in a second. This is a very heavily focused alliance game, in my opinion. And that's what makes it very interesting. There's areas that you can access, like this passageway here that we can't get yet because the kingdom is newer. So the kingdoms like change, by the way. Let me show you what I mean. Now, one of the things that bothered me is that I didn't want to play a game where I'd be going against people who've been here for 6 months and I'm drastically behind them. So this is actually showing you how frequently new worlds spawn. And there's different more in-depth strategies that you can do. Like you can build your guy up for like 10 days and then transport to a new world. But you can only do it once. So like there's a strategy where you build yourself up and then migrate over and you find an alliance to do it with. But my point is that there's these new worlds that spawn all the time. So you're not behind. You can coordinate with others. When you go into a new kingdom, there's actually a series of where you have to meet these goals. And as they're met, the timeline, more and more things in that world opens up. So it's very time oriented. The most unexpected thing for me for this game was definitely the alliances. So the alliances are your bread and butter, especially if you're a free-to-play player, okay? Everything happens pretty much within very well organized alliances. Whenever there's a leadership structure, usually if you're fighting NPCs or you're going through war or any of that stuff, you can help each other. Whenever you're trying to level up your buildings, which I'm going to get into. I probably should have done that earlier in it, but you know, for me, this is actually a very well organized video, but it could be more organized. You have clan or alliance shops. Everything happens through the alliances. Now, this is why it's so important. If you're a free-to-play player, a lot of the times you can't beat, even if you're a pay-to-play player, spending a lot of money, you can't really do things on your own. So whenever you're trying to fight other people or fight NPCs, especially as the kingdom gets older and the NPCs are stronger and stronger, it requires more coordination from your alliance to actually defeat them. As an example, in the first 10 days, I couldn't really beat a level 2 fort by myself, by any means, not even close. And you can see that this is where we have proclaimed our territory, and in this territory, you'll have like a fortress, and so this is how you stay safe in the kingdom. So alliances, a lot of them have discords, a lot of them are constantly talking to each other. There's organized events, so you can take over different various parts of the map, so you all can acquire different boosts, such as your gathering speed, such as your troops, your defense, your attack. You do different things at different various stages of the kingdom building. So this is me just kind of showing what it's like around our territory, and then you can see all of these different things that are happening, which we've already kind of gone through. And so what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to find a barbarian fort, and I'm going to show you what it's like to actually take one of these down. Let me fast forward this. Alright, here we go. We found one. And so we're going to do this thing called a rally. Now, different commanders have different rally abilities and all that stuff and different bonuses. I'm not going to really get into that. But I'm going to show you what it's like to send my troops to a place like this and what it does for the alliance. And actually, it also shows how I notoriously fuck up as usual. So I'm going to check that war tab. And I can see that I already have an alliance member that's trying to attack a different fort. Now, we're all next to each other, or near each other, so it doesn't take a long time. So I'm going to actually cancel out mine, and we're going to go join our friend. Now, as the game progresses, it's harder to take these things on yourself, so there's a lot more coordination. Like when level 2 forts come, I'm sure my alliance is going to be like, alright, Persuade, we need you to get on and do some rallies, because the stronger you are and the bigger you are, the more troops that you can rally up and send to a designated location. So now we'll talk about some of the various buildings. You can research technology. This stuff is what makes you stronger in different ways. You can gather resources faster. You can level up your troops, your attack, your defense, your I think I already said your marching speed. I mean, there's a whole multitude of different things, and how you build your kingdom is really going to depend on what you're focusing on. Are you somebody who just likes to attack people in the early stages and then jump to a new kingdom? Are you somebody that plays the long game and you're big into city building first? You have different buildings like the castle that increases your troop count for those rallies so more people can join you. This is your ability to unlock different commanders, unlock boost and things like that. You'll get free keys every day. So it is a little bit of free-to-play friendly, but not overtly. That's your ability to see the map and scout. You've got hospitals, and the hospital system is pretty cool. If they get overrun and your troops die, you got blacksmith to increase your equipment that you can construct for your commanders. I mean, this is just your typical stuff that you see in many, many games. These are your different troops. I didn't want to start the video like this because I wanted to highlight some of the better features first. But you got your defense and your watchtower. So that's pretty much the gist of your buildings. And obviously it takes a certain amount of time to construct them and build them up. It's pretty much a waiting game. And of course you can pay money to speed that up, or you can unlock those through various events around the map with organization with your alliance. Now let's talk about some of the commanders. So there's so many different commanders, and they all do different things. They excel in different things in the game, which I find pretty interesting. For instance, Mina over here is really good at taking down barbarians and leading cavalry attacks. So some commanders are good if you only put one type of troop in their arsenal. You have others who, like for instance Charles, really good at defense. You can see that. He's really good at defending your walls if somebody attacks your kingdom. You'll have Julius Caesar, who's good at attacking other kingdoms, right? Now, I'm not getting into a tier list or anything, but you kind of get the gist of how different commanders can be used differently depending on what their skill set is. And you even have commanders who excel at gathering certain resources, like she's really good at increasing resources for your buildings and technology trees, and some of them are really good at getting bonuses for gold and wood and food and stone, and then others you just have a generic gathering speed bonus for any type. So I like how the commander system is, works in this, because there's even some green and blue tier commanders that I'm using that I find really good for resource gathering. The only thing I don't like about this game is the fact that if you want to reset your skills, it can cost quite a bit of money, like 1,000 gems, unless you can unlock them. And so that's what I find just only a little annoying, because some commanders are really good at one thing, or two things rather, and you can switch back and forth, but you can't do it without paying. So it is a benefit to pay to win players and play to play players. So as a free to play player, I think really, once you unlock certain commanders, there's guides out there that show you which ones you should be heavily focused on. So you can do it, just comes with more knowledge and expertise. Now, other than just fighting everybody in the typical open world sort of alliance thing, there's different modes that are also available. There's so many modes. But probably like 4, but that's a lot to me. This is just one of the examples. It's not overly exhilarating, but it's a campaign mode. The further you go into it, the more rewards you can collect every day. So pretty much the stronger you are, the further you can get into it, the more rewards you're going to get on a daily basis. This is just the basic idea of how you'd play campaign mode. You're not going to really spend too much time in this mode, but it is a nice side feature with how it works out. And we'll speed this up a little bit. There's other modes out there. So other than just, dominating the kingdom, there's other modes where, this is actually from their YouTube channel called the Ark of Osiris, where you jump, I think it's every 2 weeks or so. You can Google for more information. And you're essentially, it's like a big battle between two sides, and you're trying to contest certain things to gain more points per minute. And it's just a really cool game mode. I mean, there's just so many game modes. I can't go through all of it. And you know what's funny? I said in this review I wasn't going to go in depth. And this video is already, at like 15 minutes. And I feel like I barely touched the surface of it. So all you really need to know is that there's just a shitload of things that are going on in this game. So many different modes. And it's a long-term game. It's not something that you just play for 5 minutes at. Last but not least, there's other game modes that I haven't gotten into. Some of the big ones are Kingdom versus Kingdom, where you go against other alliances from other kingdoms, I believe. I don't know. I don't actually know much about it because I'm not at that phase of the game. But, so, the question is, would I fuck with this game, right? And the answer is, I really don't know. Because, here's the thing. There is a free-to-play avenue in this game. Now, there's plenty of games out there that free-to-play players will never have a chance in. The thing is that with this game, there's so many different alliances that are looking for so many different things that we have a lot of free-to-play players who are absolutely paramount to our alliance because they're active, and active players mean everything. Now, of course, there are some whale-only alliances out there for sure, but this is definitely not the worst pay-to-win game, but it's not the free-to-play friendliest either. But there's a lot of free-to-play players who play this, who play it on a very competitive level, and they do fairly well. Now, the thing is that with this game, though, it takes a lot of time. I thought that I was playing a game that I could kind of play in my spare time. That's why I originally wanted to play this game. But this game, it feels kind of more of a full-time job, and I think that's the most unattractive quality. Despite there being a lot of attractive qualities with the game in regards to how free-to-play players can play, the alliance system, the king versus kingdom, or kingdom versus kingdom, and the multiple amount of modes, I mean, it will completely keep you interested. So if you're looking for a game that requires a lot of attention, a lot of your time, then this is one of them that you should probably invest in, because a lot of free-to-play players also have to have side accounts for farming resources. So it's a lot of time. If you're somebody that wants to play a game that you can kind of just pop on and pop off of, this really isn't it. This requires a shitload of time. So I'm going to continue playing it just because in my kingdom right now we're the #1 alliance. I'm the strongest player because I wailed it out a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But and I do want to be exposed to all the other game modes, but it takes so much time. And for somebody that is trying to run a YouTube or get better at it and come out with more of these reviews with expansion to anime, this is one of those games that is going to probably require too much of my time, and I don't think I can do that. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you all have any feedback for me, please provide it. I'm new at this. This is a pretty organized video for my style, but it could always be better. I appreciate all the feedback at all times, and I hope that you all are having a beautiful day. Thank you for being part of my journey. See you all later. Bye-bye now, boo-boos.